Oh, I'm interjecting here. Don't forget, wait to the end. We're going to do movie trivia line. See if you can guess it. If you do, put it in the comments. We got to end this with something fun. Do you know what I'm saying? And remind ourselves why we're doing this. Welcome back, everybody. Let's just jump right in. Hey, look, I do these right here because I want to know what's going on in this industry that I've spent 25 years doing. I feel like most of my career I've been ignorant to the news, what's going on, and being like, well, what's happening? Why aren't things happening? Why aren't things happening? So I'm hoping to just give us some information, which kind of gives us some knowledge, and then we can do with that what we shall. We have some stuff all over the map here. We got a huge thing that happened up in Canada with the Actors Union, ACTRA. We're going to read about that. Also, some news out of Britain with the BBC. Also, the Korean film industry, as well as this interesting article from Screen Daily. 10 talking points for the U.S. and international film industry. Really interesting stuff here. So I'm going to jump in. Let's start with the big one here. And I'll tell you why it's big. At least I'm an actor on both sides of the border in Canada and in the U.S. ACTRA ratified the IPA 2025 to 2027 contract. Here, putting it up on screen, ACTRA members have overwhelmingly ratified the new Independent Production Agreement, IPA, marking an historic moment for our union and the industry. This achievement would not have been possible, she goes on. This is from Kate Ziegler, ACTRA Toronto president. This is big for a few reasons here. If this just, a lot of this is coming from my novice understanding. I'm learning just like you all. A lot of this came because of the huge strikes that happened in the U.S. with the Writers Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, even later on with ACTRA. This was came after the SAG, which kind of paved the way for a lot of the things needed to be asked for in the contract. This is a big deal because, nobody wants to go on strike. Everybody wants to get their fair share of the pie. Why not? There's plenty to go around, as some would say. And just think, if the actors in Canada did go on strike, folks in the U.S. might be like, well, what does that matter to me? We have all these productions down here. Yeah, but if the folks down in the U.S., if they're not informed with how many productions are actually happening in Canada, please keep watching this channel. We'll go back to the previous video when I was sharing the productions going on in Toronto and Atlanta. There's tons of productions in Toronto, Vancouver, Alberta, Halifax that are that involve U.S. productions. More productions, more jobs. They're hiring, yes, a lot of the leads in the U.S. and bringing them up, but those productions hire a lot of other supporting roles for Canadian actors, and tons of people behind the scenes, filmmakers, editors, craft service, the folks who own the hotel that the production on location rents, right? And this means more, it keeps the content and the streaming going, which means there's more content for people to watch, which means they'll keep their subscription, which means more money to the streamers. So it goes all the way around. So this is historic on here. We got this going. Everybody just wants to get to work. It's been like, you had COVID, then you had the strikes, and then last year might not have been as picked up as people would hoped. We're going to talk about that as well. So this is really great news. Kudos to the folks that made that happen out there. Awesome way to get it done. Also, just piggybacking on what's going on up in Canada, we want to be informed about everything. Why not? This other thing here that I have, there's also a ongoing fight up here, putting this up on there with the contract negotiations for commercials up in Canada with the actors. They've been locked out. It says right here, the unprecedented lockout of performers in Canada by the Institute of Canadian Agencies has been a critical issue for actors since April 26, 2022. Maybe we'll do a little segment about that. But this has been going on. As you see, a problem started in April 26, 2021, when they're trying to get a bargaining with the Institute of Canadian Agencies. This comes down to actors not being paid what they feel they should be paid on this, and nothing's changing on here. This is an issue that I've seen in the States and in Canada now, where a lot of the commercials are going non-union, pushing out the union actors. A lot of people say, hey, we're sick of unions, that we got so much paperwork. I've heard that side of it as well. They give us a hard time. There's also other sides to this as well, that they go non-union so they can pay less for the people who work on it, for the people in front of the camera and behind the camera. We're talking about huge companies here that are not short for cash. Again, I'm a novice. I don't know all the ins and outs. I want to do more research on that, and would maybe do another episode on that. But just to let you know what's going on with that, commercials have been hurting up here for union. Non-union, it's going same as in the States. What was it? Commercial agent told me, in the States, 85% are non-union. Oof. Canada is facing that as well. All right. Let's go to, speaking of money, let's go to a couple money things. Screen Dave, I was talking about this earlier on here. 10 talking points for the U.S. and international film industry in 2025. I want to scroll down here. I'm going to go to... will California production pick up? It goes on to say, runaway production is nothing new for Hollywood's home state, but there has been a rising concern over the level of productions that have been chosen to relocate. Frustrated by high cost and the demands of SAG-AFTRA bureaucracy, studios, streamers, and independent producers have been enticed by attractive incentives offered by other U.S. states and international jurisdictions, most of which boast deep, experienced crew bases and more affordable economies. That's something's been happening, right? They used to not be able to pick up and film anywhere, but now you have all these pockets, not only in Canada, all around the U.S., New Mexico, North Carolina, Chicago, Utah. I'm missing a lot. There's tons out there that are starting to have experienced crews to be able to navigate. And be able to work with here. So they're picking up and leaving. So one could say, I've seen it argue both. You don't have to be in LA, but some people say if you're a certain level, you need to be in LA. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the chat. I think it varies about where you are in your journey, either if you're crew, actor, whatever that may be. It says right here, it goes on to say, Film LA just announced that while the fourth quarter of 2024 saw a 6.2% rise in film and television shooting days in the greater Los Angeles area, last year as a whole was the second least productive of recent times behind COVID-afflicted 2022. So is this right? LA saw its second least production since COVID last year. The LA wildfires have dented production levels in the first quarter of this year, of course, and all eyes will be on whether the region can reclaim its status as a major shooting hub. California Governor Gavin Newsom proposed to double the film and TV and tax incentives from $330 million to $750 million. The measures will come before state legislators. Look. When there's less production there's a ton of people that hold up that town, LA, that work behind the camera and that are middle class, that make those productions run. That means less jobs for them. What are they going to do? I just saw a report of how people who do specialty things from synthetic makeup to VR, that they're having a hard time because the productions are low. Then they had to lay off staff. You got to lay off staff. These people are skilled, qualified. Where do they go? Then also you have actors who need to get some credits, who need to, who are not A-listers, who are not series regulars, or number 1 and number 2 on the call sheet of a major movie. Where's their opportunities to come in there and plug in, and get some credits and get some feed? Even people that are on the top. There's seems to be less happening there. And then they're moving somewhere else, which could be good news for other folks. I know Canada seems to be doing really well with the productions coming up here and giving folks a chance to work both in front of and behind the camera. Here it is also. It goes on to say, or do international hubs now have the upper hand permanently? It says right here, the Czech government, Czechoslovakia, recently approved to uplift its production incentive from 20% to 25% in 2025. Now it offers a 35% VFX and animation incentive. From February 1st, Germany is increasing its rebate to 30%. This battle for productions. Some I've heard say it's almost a race to the bottom of this, of where to get productions. It's like, where do I live? Where do I live? Do I live? Maybe I should live here, but I'm missing out there. Maybe I should live here, but that's happened here. It's tough, you know, what a changing environment and landscape we're having. This is, speaking of, look, I'm going to put this up right here. BBC sounds alarm over UK scripted funding crisis. Multiple productions stuck in limbo. It says the BBC has issued a stark warning yet about the UK scripted funding crisis, telling lawmakers that multiple greenlit series are stuck in limbo. We are starting to face significant urgent challenges in getting productions across genres made, even those that have been greenlit by our commissioners to move forward in production. Have you seen that show, Black Doves? Loved it. Awesome. Great. I mean, I've been all into this CIA spying and government stuff. Plus, they got some actors in there just phenomenal. Shout out to those people in Black Doves production and actors wise. Warning lights have been flashing for weeks about the crisis, with Deadline reporting on BBC Director General Tim Davie holding crisis talks with seasoned scripted producers. Black Doves producer Jane Featherstone also told lawmakers this month that the BBC is struggling to fund multiple series on its books. So the theme we're having here is we gotta get more money. It goes on to say the BBC cited 4 reasons for the crisis: a drop in co-production funding from deep-pocketed partners, a difficult global sales market, it's in quotes there, persistent inflation in talent and logistics cost. I'm going to pause right there. Persistent inflation in talent? I don't know about anybody else, but I know actors have gotten a pay increase with the recent strikes and the negotiation agreements here up in Canada. But I got to tell you, that's just trying to keep up with inflation. And I'm seeing actors getting paid less and less and less. So I have to dive in deeper on this because I love how they put it on talent. And the cuts to the license fees. Let's move on. So a lot of issues all over here. Here's an interesting article here on, what is this from? Screen International. It says right here, Korea pledges support to mid-budget films to rejuvenate local industries. Look at Korea up in here. The Korean Film Council has launched a new initiative to back mid-budget films in a bid to revitalize Korea's struggling film industry. Oh my gosh, mid-level, the good stuff, man. Like either it's really micro-budget or it's like extremely big tent productions. What about the mid-level stuff? I've heard many smart, talented people ask that question. The government-supported agency has located nearly $7 million to help do this. So they're kind of reinvesting in the mid-level there. Oh my gosh. I don't know where we're going with all this, folks. With this kind of reconfiguring, people moving here, trying to get productions here. I don't know. But hang in there. Do what you love. Love what you do. I hope this was helpful. Oh, and just for a little fun thing at the end here, name this movie. We'll start doing segments. I forgot to mention at the beginning. Also, if you missed a couple of things about Toronto and Atlanta, check out the episode before. trivia. What is this line from? I'll give you a hint with a visual. Doctor, 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 doctor. Let me know in the comments if you guess it. Talk to you soon.